Now, for our first story, the Dankwa Institute here in Accra has been raided by people described as security operatives. Joy News visited the premises of the institute and revealed there were scattered documents and broken cabinets that were seen around in about 6 offices. Latif Idris reports and speaks to the Deputy Communications Director of the MPP, Perry Okujeto.
At the Dankwa Institute, we had information about 45 minutes ago that police officers were raiding this facility. Now, we've been here for the past 15 minutes. We've gathered some information. Apparently, there was a police officer at post just adjacent the building, the Dankwa Institute, who saw these 5 individuals. Now, according to this police officer, there were 5 of them plus 1 police officer who engaged in a conversation with the security officer at post here. Finally, they managed to break in. According to the information we've gathered so far, they broke into the building without permission from the security officer at post, went in here, and we do not know if they've made away with any items from this facility. Deputy Communication Director of the New Patriotic Party, Perry Okujeto, is here with me. He's going to tell us exactly what the party is going to do about this situation. You are welcome to join us.
Thank you.
What do you make of this, development?
It's worrying. It's a very worrying scenario for fledgling democracy. I have an office here. So I think at about 6:30 thereabouts, I drove out to go into town and do some other things before heading home. A couple of, let's say about 45 minutes ago, I got a call from one of my colleagues saying that the caretaker had called and has been trying to reach me, and had called that there were a group of policemen who had come to the gates asking the security man to open the gate for them to enter the premises. The security man inquired their mission and they would not listen to him, to the extent that the one in police uniform with who carried a gun was the one who scaled the wall, entered the premises, and then opened the gate for his other colleagues to enter. More importantly, we cannot live in a democracy where the difference between us and the ruling party is a simple ideology as to how do we get Ghana to work. So the fact that there are differences in ideology does not mean that people should go out of their way to do things such as these.
Are you drawing conclusions already that this is being done by the...
But who else is doing this? Who else is doing this? Already people who have been brought in, who are mere VIP protection experts, have been arrested.
The BNI. So
the BNI is not above the law.
Exactly. So you are trying to link it with the NDC. That's the point I'm trying to make.
For now, as we speak, I don't see a difference between the BNI, the security agencies, and the NDC, or President Mahama.
The BNI is a state institution.
Well, for now, as we speak, for what has been done to my office, I cannot differentiate between President Mahama, the BNI, or the NDC.
We cannot report if any document has been taken away by the individuals who raided the place. Here is also another room. Yeah, and you can see documents thrown all over the place. The situation isn't a pleasant one at all, and an MPP as a party, like you heard, the Deputy Communications Director will not take this lightly. They are going to take the necessary steps to address the situation.
Meanwhile, the security man at post also gave his account.
I was sitting in the chair, and I heard a knock on the door. So I come close to the door, and I saw Pajero Park outside with some men.
Did you see the car number?
No, I didn't. So they said they are looking for one Ajia, and I said there's no Ajia here, and all of us, all the superiors have closed. Everybody is gone, so there's nobody here again. And they said, yes, they want to enter. And I said, no, we've closed. So I told them they should wait. So I called the caretaker for them. So I called the guy, maybe he may know them. So I called him and he came. And unfortunately, he doesn't also know them. So they were trying to jump the wall. And I told them, they know if they jump the wall, it's an offense. And they said, am I the one to show them the law? So one tried and entered. So he was trying to open the door, but I was struggling with him, and he was holding a handcuff. So he was trying to hook my hand. So I immediately moved my hand, and he opens the door for them. So they came in, and they tried opening this door, the one here, and the guy was inside locked. So
is that the caretaker who was in that?
Yeah, that was the caretaker. So they told me, if they didn't see anybody, they would take me away. I said, fine, they can take me away because
but
I don't.
They didn't tell you what they were looking for?
No, they didn't. Okay. I told them they can take me away because I don't know the offense I've committed. So they can take me away. So they tried open the other side too, but unfortunately it was not locked. So they entered. And the policeman was standing outside with me, so they didn't allow me to go inside. With them because they were 7. So some entered. But I don't know what goes on in there. When they finish.
How many minutes did they spend in there?
Well, let's say 10-15 minutes.
Okay. So when they entered, what did you do? You were waiting for them?
I was waiting.
For them?
I was waiting there.
Okay.
So later I asked the policeman, you said you beat me, what have I done? So he didn't say anything. And as we were talking with them here, 4 men were outside, and I heard them making a call saying when we came there was no one here. But they didn't allow me to go out. And what I heard was they drove their car away.
And also the caretaker of the officers gave Joy News his account of the raid.
Inside my room, so I heard a call from the security man and I came out. When I came out and I went to the gate, there were about, for me, I saw around 5. Okay, so they were like, they have to enter. And I was like, who are you? They said, they are the police and they have to enter. And I said, oh, if you are police, then you should show us warrants because we have closed from work and our superiors are out. So unless maybe you have a warrant before you allow you to enter. And they said, no, they have to enter. So they made one of them to jump the wall to come in. And as soon as I saw the man jumping the wall, I ran back into my room, which is the other part of the office, and locked myself up, including all the doors around that area. So then I left them. But they were trying to enter, and they were telling me that if I don't open the gates, what they would do to me when they enter, I will regret it. But they did their possible best. They weren't able to enter my part. But by the time I came out, when everything was, I realized they entered the other part and looted the place. So
well, on the other side, the opposition New Patriotic Party is also accusing President John Dramani Mahama of being behind a grand scheme to place the party's flag bearer Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's life in great danger. This comes after the Bureau of National Investigations picked up 3 South African nationals for unlawful trading and also charged them with conspiracy to commit crime. Addressing a news conference Thursday morning in Accra, acting chairman of the party, Freddie Blay, said the NDC and President Mahama were doing all they could to expose Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to possible attacks.
The news was that the training they were offering posed a terrorist threat to national security. Later, holding the 3 men in custody unconstitutionally, the BNI finally charged them on the 4th day for unlawful training. Perplexingly, the crime that they have been charged with does not even exist under the laws of Ghana. What is unlawful training? Is there any law in Ghana that specifically regulates how a VIP protection personnel or a private bodyguard must be trained? Gentlemen, the BNI have not been able to show which part of the criminal code that they do the trial have breached. We see this as a as potentially a needless provocation of a diplomatic row between two friendly African countries for the sake of scoring a cheap and irresponsible political point. By this morning, the three men have been kept in custody for a fifth day, way beyond 48 hours, as the Constitution demands.
And already government is denying claims by the NPP that it has plans to orchestrate an attack on the party's presidential candidate and running mate. The party's chairman, Freddie Blay, at the press conference, alleged that government was plotting to attack Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. However, Communications Minister Dr. Mane Boama, in a statement late Thursday night, said the claim is false and malicious. The statement said this is the most immature defense ever attempted in a serious matter as this one. And as the statement is being quoted, we note that since news broke of the arrest of the individuals, the NPP has rendered rambling and incoherent responses in a bid to escape the widespread condemnation and public opprobrium they have suffered so far. Meanwhile, the opposition New Patriotic Party is also accusing President Mahama of being behind a grand scheme to place the party's flag bearer Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's life in danger. And this comes after the Bureau of National Investigations picked up the 3 South African nationals for unlawful training and also charged them with conspiracy to commit crime. Addressing a news conference Thursday morning in Accra, the acting chairman of the party, Freddie Blay, said the NDC and President Mahama were doing all they could to expose Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to possible attack.
The posture of the state authorities on this matter has led us with no choice. We have every reason to believe that the lives of our presidential candidate and his running mate are deliberately being exposed to high risk by the Mahama government. We will go as far as to say that the president and his government, with his government, is deliberately allowing the life of his main competitor or contestant for the 2016 presidential race.
Well, let's move on to some other stories. And Nigeria's Interior Minister has charged Ghana's security operatives to be bold in enforcing laws of the country without fear or favor if they would successfully thwart any possible terrorist attack. Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambaza was speaking on Thursday at the Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College here in Accra. According to him, Boko Haram, the terrorist group based in northern Nigeria, would not have grown into the powerful terrorist organization that it is today had the security agencies in Nigeria been bold in doing their work. He told the media later there's a need for close collaboration among operatives in the intelligence community in the sub-region.
Terrorism operates beyond borders, and almost every country in the world is vulnerable. But we need to strategize as individual countries and as a region. First, I think there is need to ensure that we strengthen our institutions, particularly the security institutions, most importantly the police, the intelligence community, to ensure that we gather as much intelligence as we can and we share it within the intelligence agencies. And those intelligence must be credible and actionable. Secondly, our policing institutions must have the capacity to enforce the law. And I think the approach, the criminal justice approach, is the main approach in countering terrorism. Others are applied when this one's failed. And it's very important that we look at this threat beyond the nation. We should be able to look at the threat from regional perspective. It's important to act. Every citizen has a role to play. Whenever you see something, say something, especially when that thing you see is suspicious. At the level of every citizen has a role to play. But at the government level, like I said, that it is absolutely necessary that we make our intelligence system work and share within the agencies and coordinate. And that we must be able to use our law enforcement agencies to check some of these things. People, what are the strengths of terrorists? They rely on recruiting others. We must not be able to allow that to happen to our citizens. We must be able to protect our citizens. We must be able to protect our borders, both the land borders and air borders and the sea borders. These are borders wherein weapons are smuggled in, drugs are smuggled in.
And that's it for the highlights of the news we have on the show this morning. Next, we'll have to look at what the headlines are on the various news portals, and we'll foremost go to myjoyonline.com and then go to City FM. As much as possible, try and reach other pages, but notably the Africa page of the BBC. In the meantime, you want to give us a lot more of the messages, please, we have a WhatsApp platform and the number through which you can share your own sentiments and comments on a number of the subjects bothering your mind is through the number 0560 800,000. As you do that, though, we have to take a break. But I also have to run this by you, that throughout the next few hours, we'll be looking at a lot more issues bordering on how we can use the period of Easter, and we know that we're ushering Good Friday, to have a certain reflection on our lives. And so Michaela Anderson will be bringing to us about how your own impact has been able to bring some miracle in the life of some young people. And notably, we're talking about a 2-month-old baby who has received a lot more donations as a result of that, gone through a lot more successful heart operation, and so now is well and good. And so we'll bring you that very news of charity. But in the meantime, please, we have to take a break. And when we come back, we'll bring you a lot more.